We're baking today, guys. We're making some marble pound cake. So if you like pound cake, I was gonna say and you like marble. If you feel like baking something, stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kimmy. This is my attic. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, today we are going back downstairs into the kitchen. We are going to make ourselves some holiday marble pound cake. The only reason I call this holiday pound cake is because my grandmother used to make it at the holidays. But you can make it anytime. It is a little bit special because it is cake that is made from scratch. If that is intimidating to you, it is so easy. Do not be intimidated. We are going to, like I said, we're going to make it from scratch, so there's no box cake involved. I will tell you what you need. This cake is so good. If you like marble cake, like pound cake, I can almost guarantee that you will like this. It is so good. It's very, very rich. You don't need any icing. We just throw a little bit of confectionery sugar on top. The only reason it is a little bit time consuming, it's not hard to put together, but it takes a really long time to bake. So I do have to tell you that you need to set aside a couple of hours for this one, okay? The prep is not bad. It's just the actual time that it's in the oven. So for that reason, you do need some time. But let me tell you what we need and where this recipe came from. Now this I have to show you, okay? I have to show you this recipe. So yes, my grandmother used to make it when I was little, and she might have got it from her mother. I don't even know. Look how old. Look how old. This is the recipe. Can you see it? Okay. It is from the, it was the recipe of the month. I have to put it back together so I can see. It was the recipe of the month from Homemade Ice Cream and Cake. And this was the Farm Journal. Farm Journal Homemade Ice Cream and Cake. That was the name of the magazine. Or I guess the cookbook. It actually still is a cookbook. I found it on Amazon, and apparently it started around the 50s. I was trying to research it. I was trying to research how old this is. Like when the Farm Journal Homemade Ice Cream and Cake book was out. First published, but I really couldn't find that information. I did find that the Farm Journal cookbooks came out around in the 50s. So I have to assume that this has to be like in the 60s or maybe even earlier than that. It's so old. And the back of it is talking about oh, okay, the back of it isn't even a recipe. It's just talking about cake. So this was probably like the editor's note page, and then on the back of it, yeah, this was the cake of the month. And my grandmother cut it out. I guess she thought it looked interesting. She cut it out, and it has since ripped apart, but I've kept it all these years. Instead of rewriting it, I just kept it like this. And this is how I use it. So yeah, this is an oldie but a goodie, and that's where it came from. It came from the Farm Journal Homemade Ice Cream and Cake book, which I don't think you can get anymore. You can get the book on Amazon, but I tried to look up the recipe. I googled Farm Journal and this recipe, like marble cake, and nothing came up. So it might just not be in there anymore, but it's so, so good. It's so good. So let me tell you what you're going to need, okay? You're going to need butter. The cake takes a lot of butter, 1 1/4 cups, 2 1/2 cups of sugar, 5 eggs, 2 1/2 cups of sifted flour. I just use flour. I never sift flour. I think you're supposed to, but I don't do it. 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 cup less 2 tablespoons of milk. That's the ingredient. 1 cup less 2 tablespoons. Yes, I pour a cup and take 2 tablespoons out. How else do you do that? 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1/4 cup of cocoa sifted. You need like the baking cocoa. I'll show it to you when we get downstairs. I don't think like the cocoa makes it rich, so you're not going to use like cocoa that you would use, like the packets that you use to make hot chocolate. Don't use that. Use like I'll show you what I use. And then confectionery sugar. That is for the top. You also need a Bundt pan, like a baking pan. I guess the question is, could you use a regular pound cake pan? I guess you could. Does it even tell you? It just says cocoa makes this rich, moist cake different. I'm reading like this because I'm trying to read over the crack. No frosting needed, definitely. This is not a cake that you would frost. bake in a slow oven for 10 minutes. Oh yeah, it tells you to use for heavier Bundt-cake pan. Oh no, there's different. Okay, so you can use a 10-inch tube pan. Is that the regular pound cake pan? I always use a Bundt pan. I always use a Bundt pan. If you do have a nickel allergy, they make plastic ones. Mine doesn't bother me to that point, so I just use a regular pan, a metal pan, but you can use a plastic pan if you have a nickel allergy. Okay, so let me read to you what we are going to do. Oh, and you need Crisco. You gotta really, really grease this pan because this cake can be a little difficult to get out if you don't grease it well, but we'll get there. Okay, so we're gonna cream the butter and gradually add sugar, beat until light and fluffy. Then we're going to beat in eggs one at a time, creaming well after each addition. Sift together flour, baking powder, and salt. I just mix it. And add alternately with milk and vanilla to cream the mixture. Then you take 2 cups out. You blend it in the cocoa. You add it alternately into the pan. You make sure you grease the pan first, obviously you grease the pan first. And then it says bake in a slow oven at 325. I never really understood what that meant. I think this is like dated talk, like bake in a slow oven, because I don't even hear that anymore. But I think it just means, I mean, this cake takes a very long time to bake. It does. It says for an hour, bake slow oven 325 for an hour and 10 minutes for a 10-inch tube pan, or an hour and 30 minutes for a heavier Bundt-cake pan, or until the cake test is done. So you have to bake it. I usually put it in there for like an hour and 20 minutes and then check it, and it's usually still not done. So it does take a long time to bake. Cool in pan about 10 minutes. Invert cake on a wire rack and remove on the pan. You don't need a wire rack for a cake. I don't know why it says that. Cool cake thoroughly. All right, so that's what we need, guys. So we're going to get out our ingredients. We're going to go downstairs, and we are going to make this cake. And let me tell you one more time, it is so, so, so good. Hey guys, so we are downstairs in the kitchen. You see my little tree? Yes, we have this tree up in the kitchen. It's so cute. I wanted to show you this too. This is like a little curio cabinet, so I just have like some Christmas decorations in here. But what I really wanted to show you, I'm zooming in. Look how cute these freaking glasses are. I got these at the dollar store. And they're called something. Oh, the tag came off. I took the tag off to wash it. They were called some kind of wine glasses. I didn't even recognize it. I did not recognize what they were called. But yeah, isn't this cute? So pretty. Do you remember that thing I got at the Dollar Tree, the little Christmas tree? Yes, there's fruit in it. And then last but not least, I want to show you my little centerpiece over here. So there's this church up the street. It's a Unitarian church, and they always have these cute little things like they have like sales, all different kinds of sales. So I bought this there. It's like a piece of wood, but it's carved out, so you can like put things in it. It's so, so cute. And this was just like random stuff I had like left over. Like, I don't know how I acquired so many pine cones. I have no idea where this came from. These are like branches that fell off of something. Why do I even keep this stuff? I don't know. But yeah, isn't it cute? I just wanted to show you. Okay guys, so here's the ingredients that you'll need. It's 1.25 cups of butter, which is actually 2 sticks and 1/4 of butter. The recipe says to soften it. Don't melt it. Like, just put it in the microwave. You just want it to be a little soft so that you can use it. I'm sorry, I'm holding the camera, shaking it. You definitely do not melt it. Just soften it ever so slightly so that it's easy to cream. And then here we go. I have Crisco. You need confectionery sugar. You need some baking powder, a little salt, flour, sugar. Here is the vanilla extract. You do need milk. Here's the cocoa I'm talking about. So this is what I use. Hershey's cocoa. Yeah, not like the Swiss Miss packets or anything like that. You want to use this one to give it that rich flavor. We have a gingerbread house. Eggs. And then this is the pan that I use. This is the Bundt pan that I use, so we're going to make sure we grease this really, really well. Like I said, if you have a nickel allergy, you can use a plastic one. You'll also need some bowls, an electric mixer, and I think that about covers it. Of course, measuring cups, stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. So I am back. So we have made the dough. There it is. That's what it looks like. This next part, what we're going to do is just take out 2 cups. So you take out 2 cups of this dough, and we'll take out 2 cups and we will put it into another bowl. And in that bowl, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. So that's all the recipe calls for, is a 1/4 of a cup. And then we're going to alternately, oh my God, alternately add it to the Bundt pan or whatever pan you're using. So that's what we're going to do now. And that's what's basically going to make the marble cake. Now in the recipe, it did say that you could add a tablespoon or 2 more cocoa powder if you want to make it a little bit more rich. But I have never found that to be necessary. I only use a 1/4 of a cup. So there we go. That's the next step. Again, guys, don't forget to grease that Bundt pan. At this point, I'm sure your oven is already heated up to 325. So grease the Bundt pan, put the dough in, and then I wouldn't even bother checking this cake for at least an hour. It's at least an hour. It does take a really long time to bake. Usually after an hour, you can kind of tell. I'll start doing the knife test like in between. So you want to kind of go in the middle, and if it comes out, stick like a butter knife in it. And if it comes out dry, your cake is done. I would say anywhere from an hour and 10 minutes to an hour and a half. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it's in there an hour and a half and it's just done. It's a very, very slow cooker. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so this is what we have. As you can see, it's like alternately, I don't know why I'm having such a, a hard time with that word. Alternately mixed chocolate and vanilla cake mix. I just want to point something out. Don't worry too much if you mess it up a little as far as how much vanilla you put in versus how much chocolate. It evens out when it bakes. Every once in a while the chocolate takes over. The goal is that when you cut the cake, you'll have like this very even mix of chocolate and vanilla cake, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it almost looks like chocolate cake. I guess the chocolate cake is a little bit more overpowering. If that does happen, it really doesn't matter. It still tastes the same. It's just how it looks. So don't be too concerned with that. We'll see how it looks when ours is baked, but I've had that happen plenty of times where it just looks more like chocolate than vanilla. Usually it's not the other way around. It's usually more chocolate than vanilla. But like if it does happen, it's not a big deal. So don't be concerned. It's going to rise up. So you do have like dough here like I have. That's not a big deal either. Like I said, I wouldn't even start checking this one till at least an hour and 10 minutes after we put it in the oven. So we will be right back. Okay guys, so it baked about an hour and 20 minutes and it is finished. That's what it looks like. So it's still like lukewarm, but it is, at this point I am going to take it out of the pan so that it can completely cool. It won't really cool. I mean, I guess if you left it overnight, eventually it would cool, but what I do is when it's like it's pretty much cooled off, I will try to get it out of the pan so it like totally cools off. So what I do at this point is I just take like a butter knife and just like go around the edge. Like I would do this even before I even attempt to get it out. The one part that's kind of a pain if you have a pan like this is the cleaning aspect. So what I usually do is I will just soak it overnight, basically, and then by tomorrow usually it's a lot easier to just clean out. So yeah, you just want to like try to get the edges so that when you flip it out, it just flips out. Every once in a while it falls apart. I'm hoping that doesn't happen for this video, but you never know. Sometimes it's a little difficult. So I have a dish. I'm just going to I can already tell it did not come. Okay, so what we're gonna do, no problem. You just gotta try to loosen it up. Okay guys, so I just did it a couple more times off camera and I definitely did feel it slide out, so hopefully it is not in a couple of pieces. Can you imagine? Okay, no, it's perfect. Okay, so there it is. There is our marble cake and it's pretty cool to the touch. I'm gonna let it cool off maybe about 5 more minutes and then we'll go ahead and add the confectionery sugar. But that's basically what it should look like. It did get a little bit messed up. That's okay, that's no big deal. That definitely happens on the popping it out of the pan. But yeah, basically it looks really, really good. Okay guys, so it's completely cooled off. So the last step is I'm just gonna add some confectionery sugar. I just use this one, Domino's confectionery sugar. Wait, let me get it in here. And yeah, I just basically sprinkle it on top and that's it. We will cut into it and see what it looks like. You can use as little or as much as you want. This is another thing that makes a mess. But whatever, it's so good. Yeah, it went all over the table. I'm gonna wipe that up and then we will wrap things up. Okay, so finally guys, we're gonna go ahead and cut into it. I have my tester. My dad has stopped by again to help test this out. So we're gonna see how the inside looks. Let's see how the swirl is. Okay, so actually this is exactly what I was talking about. It's not exactly like perfect like the swirl, like you would want to see like a better like chocolate vanilla swirl, but it really doesn't matter. It's kind of indifferent, and even in here that you can see exactly what I said sometimes happened. It kind of looks like chocolate cake, but it really doesn't matter because on this side it's okay. It's a little bit more marbly, I guess, if that's the word. But to be honest with you, like, I don't know if you can see, it really doesn't matter. It's so good. And yeah, let's try it out. Okay guys, so it is time to taste test. My dad is back to give us his opinion.
Pies and cake. Wow, this tastes great. A great cake.
Like Tony the Tiger. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you do decide to make this cake, if you're looking for something to make for the holidays or anytime, actually, let me know in the comments what you think if you make it. Like I said, I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow night as we continue Vlogmas. Half Vlogmas. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye, gang.